Hey guys, it's Davis Mallory, and I'm so excited to be joined with a friend of mine.
Hi, I'm Jonna. Most of you probably know me from The Challenge.
Yeah.
But yeah, two-time mom, two-time champ.
And I'm excited to get to know you, learn about your backstory, just some questions maybe the world hasn't heard before, and what inspires you. So let's get to getting to know Jonna.
Don't let it shake your faith when it seems like you're so far from amazing grace.
Okay, let's get started. So Jonna, you and I are both here in Nashville. How long have you lived in Nashville?
So I moved here to Nashville after I had my daughter in 2016. And then I moved back to LA for a year. And then I bought my first house in 2018.
Okay.
So I've been here for 6 years.
And you're married?
Yes.
To a guy. Tell me his name.
Yes. His name's Kevin.
Kevin. And he works in the music industry.
He does. He works at a place that they rent out sound equipment to artists.
Okay.
So any major country artists, because we're in Music City, they use this company, and if somebody's going out on tour, they get all their mics, monitors, and this stuff and everything. So
How did you and Kevin meet?
we met in LA.
Okay.
We met, actually, it's kind of funny because after filming a show, Battle of the Seasons, I decided I'm going to move to LA.
Yeah.
With the guy I was dating at the time, Zach.
Yep.
We're like, let's do it. He lasted about 12 days.
And we're talking about Zach from The Challenge?
Yeah, Zach from The Challenge.
Zach from The Challenge.
And then, but the place that we moved into, the apartment complex in West Hollywood, Kevin was my neighbor.
No way.
Yep. Where we lived, it was really cool. It was everybody was 25 and under, just moved to LA, kind of figuring themselves out. So we all hung out as a big group. And yeah, when I was going through a televised worst breakup ever and all that, that's when we met.
How long did you and Zach last?
6 months.
Okay, so short-lived.
It's funny because it's the show obviously makes a big deal about it because it's Battle of the Exes. But yeah, we dated for 6 months. I do like to say to people though that challenge time is a little bit different than meeting somebody in real life.
Yeah.
When you're immersed in that experience, you're with someone 24/7. Whereas in real life, if you're dating someone, you may get asked out on a date and then you see them a week later and then you start dating and you see each other, a couple hours out of the day. Well, when you're together 24/7, you see someone at their best, their worst, their most stressed out moment, their happiest moment. I feel like it's dog years. It definitely speeds it up.
And you kind of become a support system for them in those situations where they need a friend.
Trauma bonding. It's literally you're the only people on a cast that go through experience together, and it just bonds you that much more. So, but anyways, we moved to LA, and then Kevin and I met. We were just friends for a long time. Because like I said, after being in relationship after relationship, I just was at a point in my life where I was just I need to know what it's like to be me again.
Yeah.
And that's, of course, right when the right person walks, into your life.
That's what they say.
When you're not looking.
I just got out of a relationship and I'm in that space that you're in right now where my biggest goal is to just get happily single.
Yeah.
Not need anyone, not look for anyone.
You're
because that's when you meet the person of my dreams. But who knows? I'm open to either at this stage of my life.
You're going to meet the person of your dreams.
Yeah, exactly. But I'm with you on that. So that's how you met Kevin. So I met that happy place. And now you have 2 children and you got married and you've moved to Nashville.
Yes,
so living the dream in so many regards. How do you like Nashville?
Oh my gosh, I love it.
Yeah.
When I first moved here, I was a little skeptical because I was just coming from Arizona, right?
Yep.
That's where I was born and raised. Then I moved to LA. Those are the only places I've ever lived.
Yeah.
And it's consistent weather every day. And you know what to expect. Here, it's it could be 30 degrees. It could be snowing. Next day, 65 and sunny. Next day, there might be a tornado. So
yeah, it's so wild.
I wasn't used to having to pack around I had check my phone and look at the weather, I wasn't used to that. But at first I was just I don't know about this place. Everybody was so nice and I was is it real?
I hear that a lot when people move here.
Yeah, because especially coming from a place like LA, But yeah, so moved here. I'm happy we moved here when we did because Nashville's
booming,
the place to be now.
Yeah.
And because honestly, we probably couldn't afford it if we just tried to move right now.
Prices are crazy.
So I'm super, super thankful. And honestly, it's the best place to raise a family.
Yeah.
There's so much to do here. There's outdoorsy stuff. There's always something going on.
Safe. You don't
People
have to,
love visiting here.
I can't imagine raising a kid in LA. I would be
Right.
stressed out about things you don't have to really stress out about. Here.
Yeah. Yeah. I live in a nice neighborhood. They can run wild and free. They have friends. Like, I love it.
So you have 2 kids. Tell us their names.
Yep. I have Nolly and Cal. Nolly is 7. She'll be 8 this month.
Yeah.
She's 8 going on 30.
Really?
Yes. She's a mini me for sure.
Yeah.
And then my son, Cal, he just turned 4.
And you said before we started that he was like, "Don't leave, Mom." He
Oh my
thought you were
goodness.
leaving to go on a challenge
I wanted to
when you came
record
here
what
today.
was happening, like when I was leaving my house, because like Mommy's gonna go. You know, I always say Mommy's gonna go work if I'm doing something for the show or whatever. But he's just like, "No, Mom, I'm gonna miss you," and he's like flailing his arms on the stairs. I'm like holding on my ankle. I'm like, "Okay, baby, I love you. I wish I could bring you."
Yeah. And
next time we'll have him as a guest.
And you filmed a lot this year, is that right?
Yes,
So
a lot.
how much have you been out of Nashville this year?
Well, this year I can tell you about a little bit of it. I can tell you about one thing.
Okay.
I was gone in Vietnam for a while.
Vietnam?
Yeah, it was beautiful.
What a place.
Yeah. Filming the season 40.
Okay.
Season 40 of the challenge. It's going to be iconic for
Yeah?
sure. Yes.
What questions can I not ask you about
You know,
season 40?
I think you could ask me anything about it.
Did you win?
I can't answer, I can't answer that one.
Who won?
I can't tell you.
Yeah, I know.
But no, it was a lot. Anytime you go to the show, you know this. Like you go, there's like 20 people, crazy personalities. Like it's a wild experience. This one was different because I feel like every show you go to, you have like 1 or 2, people that are like, I don't want to say like the divas, like the ones that are like the stars of the show, right? Mm-hmm. This season, it was literally all of them. I felt so bad for the talent people. I'm just like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. But it was to be in that big of a cast too, 40 people. Yeah. 10 people to represent, each era of the challenge because it's, been on for 40 seasons.
Oh, so this is the Eras one that I've been seeing pictures of on Instagram.
They just started putting everything
the cast
out
has already been revealed. So like Polly and Cara Maria were on this one, weren't they?
Yep.
Okay, yeah.
I was in era 3, which I was in the wrong era for
really?
sure. Yes. It's kind of crazy to think about because the first show that I was casted for was Fresh Meat 2.
Yes.
I was there. I lost my passport at the airport. On our domestic flight. So we went and checked into a hotel, whatever. Next morning, 5 a.m., we had to be back at the airport. Couldn't find my passport anywhere. They replaced me on the cast with Evelyn. Yeah. So that season was 19. So the way that they did it was season 1 through 10, 1 through 10, 11 through 20. And then 21 through
30.
Yeah, exactly.
And then 30 through 40.
So I was right on the cusp. So everybody that I did the flagship and played the challenge with before was in era 2.
And I think that your first challenge was Rivals, right? Mm-hmm. And that was the last one I ever did.
Oh, really?
So that's when I met you. I think that was when I met you.
Yeah.
Okay, so then, Okay, so now that I remember now.
Yeah, so they Rivals 1 was my first season, and so it was season 21. So I was the beginning of era 3, and so I was on a team with 10 people, and only like 2 or 3 of them I had played the game with before.
Really?
Everyone that I had played with before was in old school as era.
Got it. Yeah.
So I was in a really weird space. It could have been like a really good thing. Like that's how I took it. But you'll see how everything unfolds
as you thought it would kind of play out.
Well, like I said. Yeah. You'll see, but there's 40 divas.
And I was reading about you. You did a challenge. You did a challenge before the challenge when you were 13 years old, endurance, and you won it. And it was on the Discovery Channel.
Yeah.
So how did that happen?
That comes up on season 40, so that's why I put it in my
No way. Okay, so how did you get on that show?
Okay, this is always so funny to me because sometimes when I meet people that are like, "Oh, I love you on the challenge," the best is when people are like, "Oh my gosh, I love you from endurance." I'm like, "What?"
How did you?
I was 13 years old. So when I was like 10 to 14, I did like some like print modeling and stuff like that. So I had an agent. Yeah. My agent was like, "Oh, they have this new show that's going to be on NBC. Like you should, And I was like, "Okay, I want to try out for it." And then it's so trippy though, because if you watch it, it's literally the challenge for 13 to 15-year-olds.
Yeah.
But yeah, I won the first season.
So you came in with
I'm a
confidence and experience as a young person.
Yeah.
So you knew you could do well in these shows.
I also got voted most likely to be on a reality television show.
Really?
And the superlatives.
Yeah.
But I think it's because I was on endurance.
I got class flirt.
Oh.
Yeah, I guess so. I was like, why does everyone think I'm so flirty? But I guess,
maybe you're just nice.
Yeah, maybe I'm just nice. Okay, so you came in with that experience as a child, and then how did you get into the real world?
The real world. Okay, so funny because I was casted on the real world with my friend Derek.
Yeah, I saw you guys work together at a bar.
So the real world, the whole concept of it is like, this is a story of 7 strangers picked to live in a house. I went to an open casting. So back then what they did is they went to all the different college towns and all the popular areas, right, or big cities. And they came to Arizona State and they had an open casting at a bar. I went with a friend who I went to hair school with and was like, oh, we should try out for season 22. Like, let's do it. And I'm like, I can't miss any more hours of school. Like, but I ended up going and, the rest is history.
And then you got on. And did they know that you and Derek knew each other before they put you on the show?
It's kind of funny because, I saw Derek at the open casting. I was in a group of 10 before him. And then so afterwards, they pull you, if you make it past like that first round, you then go and then you fill out this like long, I swear it was like 44 pages of like my life story, this whole packet, right? So I was back there filling this out. And in walks Derek, and he's like, oh my gosh, Johnny. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to be late for my shift later. Like, can you cover my shift later on today? And he's like, no, you got to work, girl. So we knew. And then so every round, the next round, he's like, oh, did you make the semifinal round? And I was like, nope, nobody's called me. So I guess I just skipped that round or whatever. But it ended up, we both get the call to go to the finals in LA. And we talk about it before because we're friends, right? And I was like, what do we do? Like, do we tell them? Like, I don't want to ruin your chances, right? Like, he's like, no, like, we're just not, let's just not say anything so that we both have a shot, right? We get there, and then at the time, they're interviewing, like, the final 15 people. So they're, like, pulling you into these rooms at Butte and Murray. And I get pulled into a room, and I'm just waiting because, like, another potential person's walking by, right? Jim Johnson comes into the room, and he's just like, hey, so I hear you may know another cast or a potential cast member or whatever. And I froze, deer in headlights. I was like, what? Who? Who do I know? And he's like, it's okay. He's like, you're a good friend. But like, he's like, Derek already told us. And I was just like, he told you? I was so mad at him. But,
yeah,
it worked out because we both made it.
Both got on.
And that's what Jim told me at the time. He's like, listen, it's the fact that you guys know each other is not going to affect either of your chances. Like, don't worry.
Oh, that's good.
He's like, if we like you, we like you. And that's what ended up happening.
Oh, that's so good.
We got to go together. So
I had a girl on my cast that I didn't know, but she and I shared a friend.
Mutual friends, yeah.
And so she was the only person that knew that I was gay because she had a friend in common with me. So my ability to like come out on the show in some sort of secret or my own time wasn't there for me because she already knew that about me before the show started, which I was a little pissed about.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I understand.
Yeah.
Exactly what that was like. And so, and where did you guys filmed in Cancun?
Yep.
And was it a good experience, bad experience? How did you feel this time later?
It was a wild experience.
Yeah.
It's crazy to think that it was 15 years ago. Someone in our cast, probably like Derek or somebody, just recently posted that it's been 15 years since it aired and stuff. And I just can't believe it. But if you can imagine, being 20 and living in Cancun, your job is to, work for a spring break company. It was wild. And I'm grateful for it.
Of course.
It's just funny. Not everybody's experiences, learning and growing, get aired on national television, but that's what makes it such a great show. They have the perfect formula.
Yeah. And where was your vacation? Did they give you one?
Oh yeah. So what's funny is one of my cast members, CJ, was trying out for the NFL at the time. And so they took the guys on our, because we had 4 and 4 guys, 4 girls. They took the guys to Vegas for his tryout, and then the girls got to go to Playa del Carmen. We got in a van and like drove like 20 minutes away or 30 minutes.
But was it fancy and nice?
It was so fancy and so nice, and I absolutely loved it. But I was 20, so I couldn't go to Vegas.
Oh,
yeah. So that was our vacation. We were already in an exotic tropical place, so we got to go to Playa del Carmen, like Tulum area and all that. So it was fun.
Yeah, but not like out of the country necessarily.
I did want to go back to the States because I was like, it's been so long since. We've been home. We were supposed to live there for 5 months, January to May, but after beginning of April, they're like, we got enough footage of y'all.
That's essentially what happened to us as well.
Yeah, they cut it.
We got cut short 3 weeks.
Yeah, ours was a month. Yeah,
I think they want to just plan in case it's boring.
Yeah,
and then they go longer or
they're
shorter.
like, no, we're good.
So yeah,
y'all Cancun people are crazy. We're good.
Yeah, I think at that chapter of my life, after I did The Real World, the mystery of what the show was had gone away from me, and my interest in watching it faded because it was no longer this like surprise.
Yeah.
Prior to it, I watched it pretty religiously. I think I watched every challenge before me, and then after me, I watched like none. Up until a couple years ago during the pandemic, and I was super bored, and I was binge watching TV, and then I just started to back watch everything.
Oh, you did?
And there was a couple that I missed, and I sadly don't think I saw yours. I didn't think I watched Sydney's.
It's not sad.
I don't think I watched Hollywood. Some of them were even harder to watch.
Leading into, like, we were talking about this, earlier about how, what my like goal is, or like what my next step is. And something that's like really important to me is that I want to inspire like other moms and as well as other people to just show that, because the reason why, when I meet fans now, everyone says the same thing. They're like, your story arc, from where you were to where you are now, it's inspired me. And, and that's the feeling that I love and that I want to give to people is, that no matter where you were or the person you were, were in the past, like, there's always room to grow. Yeah. And you should also allow other people that space to grow as well.
Yeah.
I run into that a lot now, with past cast members and stuff, like, especially with social media nowadays, people will say like negative things about Zach or about different things. And I'm just like, you guys have to understand. And I get it from the viewer's point, like, they're living in TV time. They think that like this is something that's still relevant. But I want to challenge people to like really, truly, give everybody, the chance and the opportunity to show that they've grown.
Yeah. And forgiveness. So that leads me to my next question. Like, do you want to deep dive? What is your story? Like, what was that led you to the show? And like, where are you at? Like, talk to us about your childhood and your past. Like, what was that like for you?
Well, so I feel like, being on The Real World, I feel like a lot of people do know about my past, but some people don't, especially like a lot of the newer challenge fans or people just now getting to meet me and stuff. A lot of people don't know where I came from, but I'm from Arizona originally. I guess the story that got me, casted or whatever is, I was adopted when I was 9 years old. So I lived in foster care from 4 to 9.
What was that like?
Well, that was the life that I had then. I didn't know any different. I will say, becoming an adult, I'm 35 now, right? I have a therapist.
Me too.
It's necessary.
Amen.
But I actually sought therapy out a while back because especially being a mom and, my daughter now being the age that I was when I went through a lot of, traumatic things, I noticed myself parenting in a way that I was always worried that she was somehow going to go through the same experience I went through. And so I was being so protective of like, trying to prevent all these things from happening to her. And I realized that she's never going to experience anything I did, that I have actually like broken the cycle of and so just wrapping my head around that's what led me there. But I've learned a lot from my therapist and about myself. And one of the things he always tells me to say or remind myself is that I'm no longer trying to survive.
Yeah.
So when I put myself in situations like going on the challenge or in real life or just anything, to remember that I'm no longer where I was, and where I am now, it's an amazing, beautiful place.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's pretty crazy. When I was on the show before, I was there to party. I was there for the experience. I was there because I was like, this is amazing. I get to go to South Africa and, whatever. And my real life was in shambles. I was still, I was a young adult. I was still learning and growing and all of that. But now when I go to a show, I'm there. I treat it like it's work. Like, I am here. If I'm going to leave my family, if if I'm going to leave my kids, if I'm going to leave my great life in Nashville, like I'm here to make money. I'm here to win, you know?
And you have won twice. How many times have you won? More than that, as well as the endurance.
Actually, I'm a 3-time champ, okay?
Yeah.
And that's another thing that I've like learned too, in filming recent shows. Like, you know, I won back to back, and I finally, you know, was able to prove the challenger that I always had been. You know, it's just, you know, it was my time. And since then, you know, I haven't really had very much luck or success. And I noticed, you know, I was just like, what am I chasing? Like, what is it that I want to prove? Like, do I want to end on a high note? What is it? And I realized that nothing can be taken away from me. Nobody can take my championships away from me. Like, I made it to the very top, and from here, I want to move on, and you know, that championship energy carry over into my real life.
Yeah, and how are you seeing that applying to real life? I mean, being a mom, and what are you doing when you're not filming? What is life like?
Well, it's great. It's crazy. I'm always busy. I'm happy now because I can fully immerse myself in my kids. And that's the stage I'm at right now. Like I feel like I've accomplished the impossible, like with the show. And now I'm ready to just be a mom and give that my all. So that's what I'm doing.
You're doing that well.
Yes.
Were you raised in like a faith-based family? What was like?
So I was... the foster home that I grew up in was Pentecostal. And so when I got adopted, my parents weren't necessarily religious. I wanted to go to church. And so I went to a non-denominational church growing up for the most part. But my parents didn't really go to church. It was just like my decision.
What led you to want to go there yourself?
It was maybe the sense of normalcy, like that's, you know, carrying over from being in foster care and stuff. And that's where I found my friends and
routine of it.
Maybe. Yeah. That's what I knew. And yeah. Do
you guys still go today?
No. My, I believe in God, but my husband, he's not really a church guy.
Yeah. Was he not raised in it?
No, he was. He was raised in, his parents are Baptists, go to a Baptist church.
Kind of got turned off to it at some point.
Yeah, I think maybe did get turned off to it. Organized religion. Yeah. It's not that like he doesn't have faith or anything like that. It's he just doesn't like the organized religion.
Yeah, I get it. I've definitely gone through that as well. So I understand. So yeah. And so then, I mean, if someone's watching today and what is it, like a lesson or something you would like to share with someone who you feel like is like your mission statement, or maybe just something that like you've learned over the last couple of years, feel like some wisdom that you could impart to someone?
Best advice or wisdom that I could give, like I got to look at it like if I'm looking at myself, you know, right? When I was younger, to, you know, just not give up. To enjoy the ride of life. A lot of times when you feel you're like at your worst, or that things are bad, or that, you know, nothing, you know, could go wrong. Like I've been in that spot plenty of times in my life. And, you know, I think that's, you know, what gave me the strength and carried over into the show, into the life, into everything. And I guess my best advice is just, you know, keep going.
Keep going.
Yeah.
Do you read books? Have you read any good books lately?
I don't have time to read books. Right. My husband he'll be like, yeah, I listened to this podcast, or he'll be like, oh yeah, I watched this show. I'm like, when? Yeah. When did you do that? Like, on the drive to work.
Yeah,
like,
what? Does he have a long drive to work?
I always tell him to. I'm like, you get to go in the car for 30 minutes and be by yourself. You can listen to whatever music you want to.
Yeah. And you don't.
No. I forget what the question was. But
any books or podcasts? Or?
No. So a book that I've read, the most recent book I've read, and it's like the one book I've read in probably the last 5 years, is The 4 Agreements.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've read that as well. It's good. Yeah, it's
I need
good.
To
a lot
of
practice. And is that kind of it's been a while since I read it, so I forget that, but tell me what's the substance of it, because you've read
The 4 Agreements is about, it's basically like, you know, these 4 things that you do And one of them is like to not take things personally, to always do your best. One is about speech, like what you like speak into existence. I forget what the fourth agreement is. So like I said, I need to reread it.
But is it kind of like a manifestation type book where basically you create your own?
Yeah, your own reality and your own world.
Draw into
and you
goals.
Attract, like if you always gossip or put out negativity or, wonder why everything's always wrong with me. Like, that those are the very things that you're inviting into your life, you know? So what you spread essentially is what you mirror and reflect.
Yeah, exactly. So
that's why I try to spread joy.
Exactly, yeah. I was gonna say today, I saw somebody post something last night that was talking about like if you're ever angry at someone, like remove yourself from the situation, get yourself to a calm, peaceful state of mind, and then deal with the problem in a like change your state of mind instead of being reactive. And I read that last night. I was like, I needed to read that because that's like such a good like change that I can make in my life to do something differently than the way that I normally do, because normally someone pisses me off, I'm reactive, and then I feel guilty afterwards because I may have said something I regret or I didn't handle it the best way that I wanted to handle it, so I was like, that's a good like life lesson.
I do the opposite sometimes, like
really?
because I take a while to process things. So like, for instance, if my husband and I like, whatever, get into an argument or something, doesn't happen very often, but he like wants to solve it then and there, wants to get it over with, wants to be done. I need my space and I need to like process. And then, because if not, then I irrationally like say stuff I don't want to say or whatever.
So you're a step ahead of me and him apparently. With
well,
like
I have to go, but it drives him nuts because he's just like, we need to talk right now. I'm like, no.
No, but that's good.
I don't want to talk to you.
I was dating someone who handled problems the same way. And I was like, you're wise. You've learned a powerful thing in controlling your anger.
Yeah.
I was going to ask you about what is your fitness routine when you're getting ready for challenges? Well,
so it's so funny. It's like, so now I'm at the point where now I work out for my mental health.
Yeah.
Before when I did the flagship, people would train and stuff. I'm like, yeah, maybe I should start working out, but like never did. So it's actually interesting. So All Stars 1, I was 7 months postpartum with my now 4-year-old.
Oh, wow.
And I went to it because they're like, hey, here's, anyways, we don't need to talk about that. But what I was going to say is Cal, I had just had a baby and I was still breastfeeding. And so when I left that show, I was like, you know what? I don't know if All Stars is going to do well, if I'll have this opportunity again, but here's my chance now, So worst case scenario, I like lose the baby weight, right? And then best case scenario, I'm in shape and I train for a show. And so I didn't even know because it was like months down the road. But that's when I really truly started working out, was between All Stars 1 and 2. And so now I have a fitness routine. I go to a gym in Mount Juliet. It's called Remove.
Okay.
I love them because literally like there's a class every half hour and they have free childcare. Oh. So I have literally no excuse. If I am running late, I can, at the 9 o'clock class, I can just go to 9:30. My kids come to the gym, work out with me. Or they don't work out; they just play.
Oh,
but
nice.
That's what I do when I train for the show. And that touches a little bit on what I was saying before. Like, the sacrifice that a mom makes to go to the show, or anybody, it's a lot when training for the show. I bring my kids to the gym with me. If I don't want to bring them, then I have to wake up at 5 a.m. and make it there by 5:30, like all while being a mom and doing all this. So if I can do it, you can do it too.
That's a fantastic place to have your kids there. And also, like, did you ever know Jen from the challenge? Jen Grijalva? She and her husband have made a CrossFit gym in California. And I visited them this year and they had their kids there every day and their kids are just playing. And it was like so joyous because it's like you're able to like spend time with your kids, teach them something about sports, encourage them to get involved with sports, which they'll follow as well. So
my kids, I'm now like an example for who these little people need to become. If they see mom working out, and now I'm at the point where like I'm not training for a show right now, but I'm training for life, really, and it's a great example for them because they see that I put my physical health and mental health, How
many days a week do you work out?
When I'm training for the show, it's usually 5. I went 3 times this week. I'm easing back in.
Yeah. Are you training for something or no?
No, I'm training for life.
Yeah.
Gotta keep up with these kids, man.
What about food? Like, what is your diet like? What do you like to eat?
I like to eat everything.
Yeah.
I love cooking. So a lot of times it's kid food. My kids like, like chicken nuggets and spaghetti and stuff. But yeah, I eat everything. I have a sweet tooth though. I really like cookies, so that's a problem.
Yeah.
So I'm never gonna have a 6-pack. I
have one of my friends is really into eating dried mango, and I was like, bro, that has so much sugar, and he's like, no, but it's actually something you can eat and be okay with eating that. So that has become my new cookie substitution because it's like natural fruit. I eat the non-sugar added versions of these, and then you're getting that sugar craving.
If they're dried, they're almost like gummies, right?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
so I eat them with no remorse.
Yeah.
Because I had a lot of...
Maybe I need to do that.
Where
do you get your mangoes from?
I get them from Costco.
Costco?
And you can get a really bulk size.
You just put a Costco amount to it.
Yeah. But I'm trying right now to eat everything that's like non-manufactured. Mm-hmm. So like eggs, salad, greens, like anything that
Whole Foods
grows,
and stuff.
Not something a man created in a laboratory.
That's important for like with kids too. Like if you look at like the ingredients and stuff like that's in our food, and especially traveling and seeing all the different things, I try as well to give them all whole non-processed food.
Exactly. That's like the little change I've recently made. That's like a new change that I've just implemented. It's not
do you feel
really
better?
I do. I just feel less guilt about the things I'm eating. Because I was flying a lot, and then I noticed one day when I was reading on the package of the snack they gave me, it was like, this, I don't know what the terminology is right now, but it's basically, this was like a genetically modified food object that you're eating. And I was like, oh, I didn't know that. I've been eating this for like years. And I'm like, okay, stop eating genetically modified food things. And just anything that seems like manufactured.
Yeah, because it's like, if you think about it, your body, like, how does it process it? Like if it's created, like our body doesn't know what to do with it.
Yeah. Because I've been on like a fat loss journey. 2 years ago, I was at a not good shape. I was dating someone. I'd gotten into like eating at restaurants, and he wasn't working out, so we weren't working out together. Yeah. And then I met a trainer, and he was in like a fantastic shape, and I just asked him like, will you start working with me? And I've worked with him for 2 years, and I've lost like 20 pounds, and I've lost a lot of my body fat, but he put me on a very strict diet, and it was very hard to follow, and I wasn't even following it. I was like trying to follow it, but I was cheating all the time. And I finally got to a place where I'm like following it, because I was realizing I was putting all this effort in the gym, but I wasn't really seeing the results that I wanted, and it didn't matter.
Like,
I was slaving.
Abs are made in the kitchen.
I was like slaving in the gym, but not seeing the results, because I was still eating cookies, I was still eating cakes. I DJ weddings, I was always taking a piece of cake, and just like.
I'm even drinking. Like, did you know? Like the second that you start drinking alcohol, your body stops burning fat.
No way.
Yeah.
So I've been sober for 8 years.
Oh yeah.
So. Are you, or were you with alcohol?
No, I'm with alcohol. I probably no. I mean, I don't drink. I do on the show.
Yeah,
that's another thing. I'm like,
I think that's why they don't put me on the show, because I feel like if I did the last one sober, which was the year I met you, and I got no TV time because I didn't do anything interesting. Because when you're not drinking, you're not doing anything interesting.
Yeah. Well, do you know Ryan
Kehoe?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. They. He recently just became sober, and
nice.
But it is interesting to see, because like, so I'm 40 actually, because whenever, if you go in or whatever, so there was a night I wasn't drinking, right? And so I was just like, but that never happens. We come back from the house and everybody's like trashed, right, on the bus, and comes back into the house. I'm like, is this what your life is like? Is this how we look all the time to you? And he's like, yeah. I'm like, oh, this is amazing. Oh, wow. Like, this is more entertaining than, being sober.
I mean, I think it would be fantastic to watch.
Yes.
But you're just not taking part. I mean, there's a video of me fighting with Dunbar that I don't remember fighting with him that surfaces on YouTube. And I'm like, I don't remember that at all, because I was so drunk. And like, almost anything I did on the real world that I wish was not there, I was 100% I was drunk for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same. I think I may have been drunk for 4 months. I don't know.
Yeah.
But no. I've recently like thought about. I mean, maybe it's because I'm getting older too. Yeah. It's just, it's not fun. No. Like, I'm not like the next day. Like, and I'm like, I don't even really get drunk. Like, it's just. Ugh.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah. No.
But I get that. I mean, I feel like just slowly, I mean, we all go through phases of our lives where we're like, no more hard alcohol. And now we're like, just wine and beer. Or not so regularly, like just once a week. Just save it for the weekends. Or just 2 drinks, you know, things like that. Like that shows a process of slowly eliminating it. And it shows your growth and your way out, so to speak. So
I mean, honestly, I haven't drank in a while.
Yeah.
Since last show.
Yeah.
But
yeah. Well, so what's next for you in the horizon? What is the things that are coming up in 2024, 2025 and on?
Well, season 40 is coming. And I may or may not have another show after that.
May or may not, yeah.
May or may not.
And what number show, how many of these have you done total?
So this season 40 will be my 11th season.
Wow.
Yes, my 11th challenge season, which is wild to me because like before I took a long hiatus, actually I quit. In 2014, I was like, I am done with the challenge. I want to be a real person. I'm out, you know? I forgot what I was saying. What's next?
Yeah, what's next?
I had no idea, obviously, that I'd be thrown back into this world. But I have a feeling it's enough. I've more than doubled the amount of shows I've ever done.
Yeah.
So in the past 3 years, I feel like in the past 3 years, I've been go, 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 go. And you know, all while balancing my real life. And now I'm just ready to, you know, hit up those PTO meetings, you know, and take my son to T-ball. No, but I'm going to be this year.
Yeah?
Yep, I'm going to be there for the spring fling. I'm going to, all of it.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And what are the things you like to take part in Nashville? Favorite restaurants, favorite
there's so much good food here.
Yeah?
So much good food.
Yeah?
Music,
give us some of your
concerts.
favorite restaurants. What are some of your...
Babo.
Give a plug. Babo, I've never been.
That's the first one that came to mind because I've been craving Babo. It's like a Korean place in East Nashville. What's your favorite restaurant? I'm trying to think.
I have a few, and I don't want to
be.
be judged by this, but like, there's actually a place right around here that I tried for the first time. It's like Tuta di Gio, and it's like an Italian brick pizzeria.
I've heard about that place.
And I tried it for the first time, and I was craving it instantly. As far as pizza goes, I think it's better than anything else I've had in this town.
Yeah,
I like Mas Tacos in East Nashville.
Mas Tacos?
Yeah.
Is that the place? Okay, is there a restaurant across from it?
Pharmacy Burger?
No. I've been to a taco place there, but it's like, it's across from like a fancy restaurant. That's the only reason. I don't know.
Ish. There's a couple of restaurants across from it, actually. There's
is it in a residential area?
It is?
Yeah, okay. It might be the same place.
There's a line you have to stand usually to order, and then it's... I like their chicken tacos. I get their corn, but I get it cut off the cob, and I get their like plantains and black beans, and I get their iced coffee.
Oh my gosh, I'm so hungry.
And their soup is really good too.
I'm
their
hungry.
Hot soup. So like that whole thing is all fantastic.
Yes.
Mitchell's, please, let's do.
Let's do it. Let's actually do it.
Yeah, Mitchell's Deli. Have you been there? Really good deli in East Nashville. Yeah. Really good. So those are some of my
note.
Like, yes.
We're going to go to brunch, to lunch, and you got the spots.
We can even do the pizza place that's near here.
Ooh.
If you're really feeling it. It's right around
sounds
here.
Really...
Yeah. So, I mean, but that's one of the things I love about Nashville, too. Do you have a favorite, like, what do you do on a weekend when you go out and you're not filming in Nashville?
I don't go out.
No. Yeah, because you have kids.
I need to start doing it more. The one thing, the cool lesson that I learned from, like, going back on the show, right, is, like, I got the opportunity to go be part of something that was me before I was a mom. Yeah. And, you know, I feel like a lot of times moms get lost into pouring themselves into their kids' lives, you know, as they should, but there's still that part, you know, of me. I need to hang out with my friends and I still need to do stuff. So let's hang out.
Absolutely. And that is a place for you to go and reunite with and make new friends. These challenges. Like, I noticed that Grant was one of your teammates.
Yeah. I love Grant. Nice I love Grant. So funny. He was on Love Island.
Yes, I watched that show during the pandemic.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny. So we were actually outside of like one of our interviews in South Africa, and they brought us to this like weird school building for an interview. I don't know. It was weird. But there were people coming out outside, right? And I didn't realize how big Love Island was, especially that season, I guess. But all these girls were like, "Oh my gosh, Grant from Love Island!" Yeah. And I was like, "Oh my gosh, Grant!"
He's a superstar.
They're like, "Can we take a picture with you?" And it was so funny.
Didn't he win? I think he won. I think he won Love Island.
Yes, he did.
Yeah,
he won Love Island.
He went to the end.
Yeah, he did well on the Challenge Australia, and then we should have won the global championship. I think, I mean, did you see it all at all?
I think I watched most of it, but I don't remember how you guys didn't win.
they had this open like invitation or whatever. He got first place, so he got first choice of partner.
And of course,
chose
he
me,
picked
first
you,
round draft pick. Okay,
the recent 2-time champion.
But he picked me. We like dominated the first challenge. We were doing well. He ended up injuring himself on like the most ridiculous challenge. And I remember one of the safety guys came up to us after, and even Justin Booth, the EP, was just like, it's always the one challenge that you don't think that there's any way you could get hurt, that somebody figures out a way. But it was basically like this blob. Do you know what a blob is? Okay. You know, you've been to summer camp.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's like the partner laid on it and then he jumped onto it. However he did it, he tore his ACL, MCL, all the things. And so we got medically DQ'd. That was the season that I was like, I'm gonna go in, get my third win, and I'm gonna ride off into the sunset. And ever since then, I'm chasing that sunset.
Is the third win the thing you need to end it, you think?
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
But we'll see. I don't know. You know, it's funny because, after you film a season, they always ask you, they're like, oh, will we see you again? That's the last question.
Yeah.
And, my most recent season, I just was like, this is the first time that I'm like, I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to come back.
Yeah.
We'll see, though.
Because once you win, it's like, what else is there to go for?
Yeah. I mean, exactly. The experience and all of that. And it is
fun.
cool.
It is fun.
It
the
is
money.
cool.
The continuous
you
paycheck.
get a good group of people. It's like, it's awesome.
The paycheck.
Yes. That's what it is for me. I'm like, listen.
Did you make any new friends on the most recent challenges that you've done?
Yeah, I did. Trying to think who I met for the first time that I haven't done recent shows. Aviv. Do you know Aviv?
No.
Okay. She won Fresh Meat 1 with Darrell. But that's the only season she's ever been on.
No way.
Yeah. So she came back for that. She's super cool. We had this thing where like, mom's on the loose. We're like, we don't have to cook. We don't have to clean. We just have to jump off buildings and eat animal parts. But, it's fine.
I never had to do an eating challenge.
You didn't?
No.
Oh my goodness.
There was a time where they took them out of the shows.
Yeah.
And I was on those times of
good.
shows.
Well, you count your lucky stars.
I feel like I probably could do an eating challenge pretty good.
Yeah. If you're good at mind over matter stuff. Yeah. That's all it is. It's actually funny you say that. So on All Stars 3, Brad, do you know Brad?
Which Brad?
Brad,
like
Brad
and Tori?
Fiorenza. Yeah, Brad
yes,
and Tori.
Of course,
yes,
I know
of course,
him.
you know Brad. Okay.
Yeah.
Him, and then I forget who else it was. Maybe Kayla.
Okay.
They had never had to eat anything on the show. And so they're like, wait, this is our first time eating. And they were like, this is disgusting. Now we see why people throw up everywhere.
What's the grossest thing you had to eat?
Whatever that was. It was this plate. And mind you, it had been sitting in the sun all day. So whenever they cook like animal part things and stuff, they just boil it with like, they don't put salt or they're like, oh yeah, this is a delicacy in this country. And I'm like, yeah, if you season it, like, I don't know. I've eaten everything weird. Gosh. I just don't ask anymore.
I willingly ate a scorpion in Thailand. And it tasted like a nacho. Oh. So it was not anything bad.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I've had an eyeball.
Yeah. Oh, an eyeball.
Cow eyeball.
Oh. That would be hard for me to do.
It was chewy.
Were you able to like
you couldn't
cut
even
it?
chew it.
Could you cut it with a knife and fork?
We didn't have silver.
Oh gosh.
So I had to, you have to rip it into smaller pieces because you can't chew it. So I had to rip it into like golf and swallow it whole.
A cow's eyeball.
An eyeball.
Cow's one. Yeah.
Eyeball. It had
it's
lashes.
big, right?
It was this big. It was this big.
It had eyelashes?
Yeah, there's a little eyelash.
Oh, that would be so hard for me to do. Okay, I'm not going to lie. I said I could, but that one would be challenging.
No, yeah.
And any kind of genitalia, I don't think I could eat that.
No,
cow balls or...
I'm fine as long as I can like in my head be like, yeah, this is chicken and just like swallow it and just fine. But when it's like cold or congealed or fishy, I
ate a chicken heart in Brazil a couple years ago and I had like the worst stomach ache and I think that's what caused it. So I don't think we're supposed to eat hearts, honestly.
No, I don't know. There's no other time I'm going to eat a cow eyeball ever.
No.
Only for the big money, right?
Yeah. Well, so hey, is there anything else you want to discuss with our listeners as we bring it to the end?
No.
No? Did we get all the good stuff out?
I guess
all the
so.
good stories?
I guess.
Yeah. Well, it was good catching up with you. I'm going to go take you to pizza after this.
Yes. I'm excited.
And I'm excited to spend time with you here in Nashville and share this experience with our viewers. Appreciate you coming by.
Of course.